Hello and welcome back to Sunday League Football, where today we have our very first match in the cup called DBU Pokalen, and it's basically the Danish equivalent of the FA Cup in some way. So we're starting out in the very first qualification round, and we're playing against the FifaRalle, which is another team playing in the same tier of Danish football as ourselves. And as you get into the later stages of the tournament, teams from higher and higher tiers will join in. Anyways, on to the lineup for the day. We got Kim in the net, we got Martin Larsen, Bue, and Mau in the defense, Volroer and Skifter in the midfield, the same sort of midfield we've seen in our past few games. And the attack consists of Jäger, Stefan, and NC. NC starting after his very good performance against Jyllinge last time around as a super sub. And moving on to the substitutes for the day, we got Willem, Simon, and Hadi. Myself, I would have loved to play, but I'm still injured. However, I am very, very close to being able to get back into playing football, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, for the day, we actually made a bit of a special occasion. So I ran onto the pitch with a bunch of the local kids. A nice experience for everyone, and there was actually a lot of people showing up for the match, considering the level of play. There's a lot of people watching, and that was just a nice experience for everyone. Now, quickly, let me explain you the rules of the cup, because it basically starts out with a qualification round for all the lower tiers of Danish football. So it starts out with the lowest ones, then it takes the two next leagues, the two next leagues, and the two next leagues. So it goes through a couple of rounds, and then come the end of the spring, a few amount of teams will then qualify into the real part of the tournament, where all the real good teams turn up. Basically, you will have all the teams from the best tiers of Danish football joining in, and that is sort of after the summer break. So this is the chance to sort of qualify into that, and these are the very, very first rounds of it. So of course we're never going to win the cup, because we're never going to be able to beat a professional football team, but of course it is always fun to play the cup and see how far we can go in it. So on to the match. We start off with an effort from distance. Is Roar to take the shot, but it is way over the goal and didn't really come to anything. But we started out pretty well, and I guess everybody on the pitch was sort of a little bit hyped for the match, because there was a lot of people watching the match and everybody wanted to do as well as possible. So we started off with the first couple of chances, and then the first liable chance sort of 15 minutes into the game wasn't really anything that troubled Kim in the net. And then Vol, with a nice little turn here, he does get fouled, and I went on to the drone cam here, because Martin, who played on the right back, made a very good run. Vol spotted it, took the free kick quickly, played it on through, and Martin got sort of dragged down in the box. At least the penalty was given. I am not too sure how much of a penalty it was. It is very difficult to see from the drone view, and it's very difficult to see from this view as well what actually happened. But the referee must have seen something. He gave the penalty, and Roar would step up for that. And that would make it 1-0 to us. Roar, Il Capitano, always provides from the penalty spot. That makes it 3 out of 3 penalties so far from him this season. And hopefully he'll be able to continue that throughout the season. But after we went up 1-0, the game sort of changed. The first part of the half, so the first 20 to 25 minutes, we were sitting on most of the chances, most of the play up on Liabo's half. But after we went up 1-0, Liable started pushing more forward. They got a lot of free kicks, a lot of long balls into the box, and they were sort of pushing on, trying to get back into the match, and they were sitting on most of the play, creating the chances and trying to get that 1-1 equalizer. Here, nice cut in behind. He takes the shot on the edge of the box, but luckily it is over the goal. And sort of come the end of the half, despite Liable sort of pushing on and trying to create stuff, Kim in the net was never really troubled too much, and in the end, after this long ball was kicked forward, the referee, he would end off the first half, and that would see us going into halftime with a 1-0 lead. But the game started out really well, but the half ended really bad, and we needed to change stuff as we went into the second half. Hopefully get a bit more back into control of the match. But of course, Liable would push more and more men forward in hopes of getting that equalizer, and we only played 30 seconds off the half, and it's not too great back pass. The Liable striker picks it up, goes around Kim, and luckily we have a player on the line to clear it away, and it does not come to anything. But the pressure continued from Liable, and we did exactly what we did when we ended off the half. We didn't have any control of the match, and Liable was pushing on, trying to get that equalizer, and we're just lucky that their accuracy was not really there. They were not hitting the target. They were not troubling Kim too much in the net. But then in the 57th minute, Simon, he completely misses the ball, and in the end, a penalty is given. Sort of similar to the first one, and not too sure whether it's a penalty or not. Difficult to see from distance, but Liable would finally get a goal. They would make it 1-1 and get back into the match. And shortly after, I had to zoom in a bit here because it's difficult to see, but he's played on through to the striker, and luckily Kim quick off his line to deny him the goal, and in the end, it is tackled away. But we were struggling a lot here, and as you can see, a lot of counterattacks and a lot of chances from Liable. And as I said earlier, we could just be happy that the level of play is not the greatest and the chances are not always taken, because there was a lot of chances where Liable could have scored, but they didn't. But then in the 73rd minute, it's kicked in and it's put into the back of the net. Luckily though, the referee spotted the offside. I say it was pretty well spotted. I've been sort of looking back on all these footages, and I've been complaining a bit about the referees before, but you can't really expect too much. It's low level of play. You can't expect the referees to be the best, but here, very well spotted that offside in the box, because it would have seen Liable go up 2-1 if he had not spotted that, and that meant it was still 1-1. And then something happened. It was very weird. It had pretty much been an hour of Liable dominance, and then the game changed again. Here, I think this one, out of all the things happening in the match and the penalties given, this was probably the one that was a penalty, I'd say. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, because that looked like a penalty to me. Anyways, from the 80th minute and onwards, we started creating chances. We started pushing on, and it was like we believed in things again. We got our play going, and we tried to sort of go back into the lead and win the match. And as you see, a lot of free kicks, a lot of balls sent into the box. And here's Vol to score that wonder goal against Jyllinge. Could, however, not recreate it this time around. But yeah, a lot of chances here. And Jäkel, nice little touch around the defender. He takes the shot from distance, but on his weak foot, it was saved and collected by the goalkeeper. And in the end, it was the end of ordinary time. And the way it works in these earlier stages of the tournament is basically it goes right into a penalty shootout. No extra time, it goes straight into the penalty shootout. So penalties, it was the first time any of us ever tried that. So a pretty interesting experience playing a penalty shootout. So it's of course best out of 5, and after that it goes into sudden death. So Liable would start it off by scoring, and then as Volt to step up for us, he puts it into the back of the net to make it 1-1. A little celebration there out to the crowd. Liable steps up, they score as well. Very good penalty, that one, right out at the post. Then it's Skifter to step up, good penalty as well. Send it to the right post, 2-2 so far on the penalty shootout. This one, Kim pretty close to getting that, but it was just under him, and unfortunately it saw Liable taking the charge. Stefan to step up to try and get us back into it, get us our third goal. He steps up and he will shoot in. Luckily the keeper dived to the wrong side. Number 7 steps up, he scores as well. Another very good penalty, to be fair. Last as well, no chance for the goalkeeper, making it a 4-4, and so far nobody has saved any shots whatsoever. Number 14 from Liable to step up for the penalty. He runs up to it, and Kim, he saves it, and he was happy. Everybody in the crowd was happy. And then it was time for our 5th penalty taker to step up, and that is Roar, who so far scored on all his penalties. He scored on 2 in the league match against Frederiksværk. He scored 1 in this match so far, and if he scores now, he would see us going on through to the next round of the cup. So a lot of pressure on here. If he misses, it goes into the sudden death. If he scores, that means we are on through. So Roar steps up. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he is our penalty taker. He steps up, he takes the shot. Yeah! The celebrations begin. An awesome experience for everyone, because we never been in a penalty shootout before, so an amazing feeling to go out and win it and move on through into the next round. And for the man of the match votes, it was Kim to win it with 26 votes.
3, 2, 1,
And thus the first round of the cup comes to an end. And goals-wise, we only got 1 goal scorer, and that is Roar. So he got the top scorer title in the cup, just as he got in the league right now, because, well, he scores all those penalties. And apart from that, it was a match where we played against a very, very strong team. And they could easily have gone through just as ourselves. They were sitting on 60 minutes of the match. We were sitting on the other 30 minutes. And yeah, it was a match that could have gone either way. And in the end, we were lucky enough to win from the penalty shootout. Anyways, this is going to be the end of this chapter of Sunday League Football.
Jimmy, jeg har prøvet 5 gange.
What's up?
Hey!